Good evening, everyone. Welcome to your weekly dose of police science snippets. I'm Suzanne Knabe-Nicole. I run Police Science Doctor, a website and online resource where police and all other law enforcement enthusiasts can come to get some good dose of research in criminology, police science, investigative psychology, forensic psychology, all these kind of areas that we find interesting. Now, because much of that science is behind subscription walls and academic journals that most people can't access, I take some of that research and I turn it into videos, into podcasts, into transcripts, and into these science snippets. If you're already on the Police Science Doctor email list, by having gone to policesciencedoctor.com and putting your details into the registration form in the footer of every web page, then you will be getting these email snippets into your inbox every Tuesday. But I also come here in the evening on a Tuesday evening usually, to tell you about them and discuss them in more context and why they are significant. So everything I do is reference. I'm not talking about my own research. I'm telling you about the research that other people have done, and I try to translate them into something that you can use. So the first snippet today is about emotional competence and offending. The snippet is as follows. Compared to non-offending adolescents, adolescent sex offenders were found to score higher on aggression, attention to feelings. They were less clear about their own feelings and less capable to repair unpleasant moods and prolong positive moods. Now, that's all about emotional intelligence. And the reason why I thought this was quite significant is because some people may have heard about emotional intelligence, but they don't really know how important it is. Now, if your emotional intelligence basically means you're able to understand your own emotions and you're able to understand the emotions of others. Not only that, you're also able to influence your emotions and you're able to do something about the emotions of others. What we read just here is that sex offenders' emotional intelligence is much worse than the emotional intelligence of people who are also the similar age, but are not sex offenders. So how about we just become better at emotional intelligence across the board? First of all, it would be good for our well-being to be more emotionally intelligent, to understand what's going on, why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and to be able to manage that, and to be able to manage and influence and recognize it in others. But it would also perhaps have an impact on offending, especially offending that is sexual. I think the reason why this has been highlighted is because it takes a certain kind of person to be sexually aroused in the presence of somebody who's experiencing severe trauma through what you're doing to them. So somebody is scared for their life, is in pain, is in agony, is absolutely scared witless. To be able to feel sexual pleasure through that is a special kind of person, okay? It's fortunately not what we would consider healthy behavior or healthy preferences. If we can raise emotional competence overall, maybe we can have an impact on that. So that was the first science snippet, and as usual, there's a reference to the original article, should you want to read it yourself. The second snippet is about victim offenders. Combining high harm offender and high harm victim data sets, we are able to identify high harm victim offenders. So we've got victims, we've got offenders, but there's a part here where they overlap, people who are victims and who are offenders. Happens a lot in gang violence, street violence, the boys who carry knives, the youngsters, they're just as likely to get killed as they are to kill someone. Actually, don't quote me on that. I'm talking figuratively here. I don't actually know what the numbers are, but the demographic of people who kill and get killed is often very similar. Right. So 20% of the total of the initial two groups who both offend and are victimized. So we've got those two groups here. 20% is those who are actually in both groups. And they are responsible for 71% of all the harm caused in those two groups. Right, so victims, offenders, overlap. 20% within that overlap are responsible for 71% of the overall harm. Okay, so if you can identify those people and you focus your resources on those people, you're dealing with 71% of the overall harm. Okay, so this is how you need to start looking at people. It's not binary. It's not offender or victim. there's a third dimension here. Okay, and there's actually a link to the full article in that snippet. So please go ahead and follow that up if you're interested. Could be very, very valuable. And the third science snippet for today is about sexual assault. Women are 3 times more likely to be assaulted by someone they know than a stranger. Okay, so we all know the stereotypical thing of, women walking around through an alleyway in the dark, and a stranger comes out of the bushes and rapes her. That's the stuff of fiction. That's the stuff of TV and films. It does happen, of course, but they're 3 times more likely to be assaulted by someone they know. The most likely perpetrator of sexual violence, and that's 87.7%, is a boyfriend or girlfriend or a date. And 41% of total rapes are family violence related. So that's a relative. It's father, brother, uncle, grandfather, stepfather. Could also be family, friends, but possibly not in these statistics. So that's one thing. So we need to be aware that yes, we do need to tell our children about stranger danger, but we also need to be telling them much more importantly about boundaries, what's okay, where the private areas in their body are, so they learn, no matter what the context, what is okay and what is not okay. Far too often, parents don't explain to their children what is okay and what is not okay, and the children assume that what an adult tells them to do must be okay because they're an adult. That's why it's very important for every child to have a very good understanding of what boundaries are, what's private, and what people are allowed to do and what not to do. Okay, so especially because the family violence rate is actually so high. So if you are going, somebody is going to get sexually assaulted, it's usually a family member, partner, acquaintance, or date. Okay, it's not usually the stranger, although of course it does happen. Such close relationships then, so here's another complication. Such close relationships between the victim and the offender may negatively influence the victim's decision on whether to report. So a victim of rape might be a lot less conflicted. So they're very conflicted about reporting rape, okay, because of how they fear they're going to be treated, whether they may fear they may not be believed, all kinds of complications. But there's another complication when it's a family member, okay? They might have fewer reservations telling the police about something bad that a stranger has done, someone they don't care about, than telling them about something bad that somebody they do care about has done. That will upset the whole family dynamic. And often those abusing family members completely exploit the situation as well. They say to a child, for example, well, if you tell anyone, mommy and daddy will not be able to be together anymore. I will have to leave. I will go to prison. And, they really press on the guilt with that child. So just bear that in mind. That is a lot more difficult for someone to report this if it's someone they know, someone they care about, someone who's in their family. Okay, so this is actually from a PhD thesis, and I've got the link there to the whole thesis if you want to read about that. So these were the science snippets for this week. I hope you find them of interest. Just 2 things I wanted to make you aware of if you're not already. So I've got the, let me just get rid of the logo here so you can see that better. So I've got the conference coming up, the Rapid Fire Conference on Behavioral Science in Policing, 10-minute training sessions on really, really interesting topics on Thursday, the 22nd of April. So it's not long to go now. If you haven't registered yet, go and register on policesciencedoctor.com/RFC for Rapid Fire Conference. Okay, that's the one thing. The other thing is, this course we will be launching, the first proper, fully fledged, feature-length course we will be launching in the Police Science Doctor Academy, Emergency Stress Pit Stop. So that's for police, for first responders, for police officers and staff, those on the front line, serving or past members. And it's about dealing with stress on the job, from the job, whilst doing the job, having done the job. This is by Ginny McKenna, this lovely lady, whom I can show you here, who's also going to be talking at the conference. She has been a cop. She's walked in your police boots for over 20 years. She has been to hell and back. She was very close to committing suicide, was only prevented from doing it by her dog, who did not let leave her sight. And she's here because she was worried that she was going to abandon the dog. Nobody would be there to look after them when she was gone. So that's the only reason why she survived that suicide attempt. So she knows what can go wrong in policing, and now she's actually qualified and equipped to help you through it. If you need any support, the support is available. So this is the link to register for the conference: policesciencedoctor.com/RFC, Rapid Fire Conference. And to get more information on the course I just mentioned, Emergency Stress Pit Stop, policesciencedoctor.com, GM1. That's Ginny McKenna 1, GM1. Right. So I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope to see you all at the conference, and I'll be in touch. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. I hope you found this content useful. You can get access to each episode's transcript with key learning points, timestamps, and references if you get yourself onto my mailing list. Just go to the main website on policesciencedoctor.com, and on the bottom of each page you will find a sign-up form for notifications of new content. Just enter your first name, your preferred email address, and the type of organization you work for. You will not get any spam. This is just for me to let you know about new content and for you to get access to all the transcripts.